Everybody, welcome. X's and Knowles, presented by Knowles247.com. I'm Trey Rowland, Kevin Little, Adam Brown. Today, we're going to be looking at the film of Florida State's newest defensive line commit, Wihtlley Cadeau. From Booker T. Washington, Atlanta, Georgia. He's a class of 2026 defensive lineman. He's a big boy, 6'5", 295. We're going to be looking at the film, breaking it down. He's a 3-star right now, but is he a 3-star with potential or a 3-star with heart?
Oh my
Maybe
God.
both. We'll find out. One thing I do want to let you guys know, a little programming change. We are now starting to post a lot. We really want you guys on Knowles247.com to get the most out of your subscription, the most bang for your buck. So a lot of our content, pretty much all of our video content now, is going to be going for an exclusive period on Knowles247.com for at least 24 hours, maybe even longer. So that's all of our film breakdowns, instant reactions, all of our recruiting breakdowns, all the conversation series that we've been having. The only way for you guys to see that first is to be a Knowles247.com member. There's going to be an exclusive link to the video on the site. It will be released to YouTube later, but not for a period of a day, maybe a couple days. So if you do want to get the first look, first access to our videos, you got to be a Knowles247.com member. We want to make the highest premium level content, most bang for your buck for our guys. However, Papa Trey is not going to leave you out hanging. I know most of you guys are Knowles247.com members anyway, but if you're not, let me sweeten the pot for you a little bit. Promo code XSNOLES247. XSNOLES247. That will chop your subscription in half, 50% off for an annual subscription. X's Knowles 247, XSNOLES 247. Put that in. There's a place for it. Enter a promo code on the subscription. Sign up for a year. You're covered for football season. All the videos you know and love will be there, probably with more frequency. We've got some really fun content ideas kicking around in our head, but the only way you're going to be able to see them live and first is to be a Knowles247.com board member. Perfect. All right. Ooh, thank you for that little runner. Professionalism. See, that's what we offer for you guys. All right, boys, let's get into this film. Adam, I'm going to go for you first as the titan of the trenches that you are. What did you think about this take? Kind of came out of nowhere. This is a kid whose recruitment seems to be ascending. Started to get some interesting looks and offers for some other big schools, but pretty raw, right?
Yeah, pretty raw. I watched him the other day when he committed. The first thing that immediately kind of stood out to me is just, he's got an athletic profile that I think is one that you're looking for. He's a guy that you're excited when you turn the tape on, you see how he moves. You see the clay in which you've got the opportunity to kind of mold and fit into what you want him to look like as a football player in your program. Again, raw, and I will emphasize the word raw because I think it's going to take some time to get that unlocked. But just as far as like a height, weight, speed, movement profile, he's got everything you're looking for there.
Kev, what do you think? Have you got a chance to look at Mr. Cadeau's film?
Yeah, first of all, the initial thing that stands out is you can't teach 6'5". So he's got the frame and the tools that you can build on. Yeah, you can just let it run, AB.
Let's turn this Johnny John on.
And so that's what you're banking on. A lot of this kind of the length is pretty apparent. And when you're thinking about kind of fitting this to Tony White's defense, you want a guy that kind of has some flexibility. So he's got the length to maybe play that 4-eye defensive end, but he's also got a frame that you could build upon and maybe be more of a true 3 tech, so or a true nose, depending on how much weight he can hold on his frame. But he's got a sense of flexibility, a sense of utility that plays into the hybrid nature of Tony White's defense.
And you emphasize it's kind of the rawness, Adam. What part of the game is the most raw, and what part of the game right now is his, I guess, most refined, or the thing that really, you really like to see so far at this level of his development?
I would not say there's much refined.
Okay.
When he puts it all together, it looks really good. Meaning when he gets out of his stance, he does a nice job splitting a double team there. I'm not sure how good this competition is that he's playing. These guys look a little bit smaller than him, which a lot of people would. But if he when he puts it all together, when he gets out of his stance right, when he shows that good burst and ability to come out of his come unloaded from his ankles up to his knees and his hips, it looks explosive. But too many times he just kind of stands up and he looks around. Let's see what he does here. This will be a good angle. Yeah, he kind of pops up. He's kind of two gapping, but I'm not sure that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing there. So those are the things that worry you. Can you there? And there's a good example following it up where he does come out of his stance.
I mean, that's the difference, right? Like that's what would make a kid with his frame is elite, right? 6'5" with his wingspan, that's elite, but he doesn't show an explosive first step. He doesn't show. He's not penetrating a backfield against much smaller defenders, like you'd like to see someone of his size.
Yeah, I mean, look at him here. It's just kind of
tentative, right? It looks like a kid who's kind of new to the game.
It's just kind of slow. He looks like he's kind of thinking.
I mean, the question is he tentative or is he just kind of lack that first explosive step? A sense that you can train some of that. You can get that ingrained in a kid, but some kids are fast twitch by nature. Some kids are less so. And so you're betting on an upside that's very clear. But if you can't get that first step developed, then that might be upside that stays upside.
And he's got kind of a false step thing working here. Like he's kind of, if you watch his right foot, he's always kind of gathering himself as opposed to getting up the field with it. So if you just watch this foot right here, he's going to just take a small step there to gather. That's a false step. I mean, those are things they've got to work out on. They've got to get that foot moving forward.
And I will say, like his first step, his acceleration, that initial thing, I'm not seeing much of, but he does have good open field speed. So he's been able to run some people down at his height, and that is an encouraging sign that there is some athleticism to grow into.
See, I mean, this looks a lot different here. I mean, this is an explosive coming out of his stance. He leads with his hands, which is what you want to see. It just tells me he probably hasn't played a ton of football.
You can tell too, like that last clip where he was like on the edge, kind of trying to diagnose the play. It looked very slow and plodding, and he's an athletic kid. It's just, he doesn't look, with some kids that you see that are new to football that are physically impressive at him, he doesn't look averse to contact. Like he looks like he knows the upper body tools that he has, and he uses and he extends. It's just, like you said, is that first step? Is it a product of not knowing the game?
He's still a little high here, but he did a better job of getting that first foot going forward. He's still a little high. His hands are a little wide. Like those are tools that they're going to need to correct. Like he needs to try to fight leverage here and get over the top of this. He kind of stays behind it. But these are things I think they can coach. I don't think he's going to be playing on the end too much at Florida State. I think he's a kind of a 3-eye, 4-eye, like Kev said, maybe a 5 technique.
Like that. That looks different. It's like when there's not a guy lined head up on him, everything kind of slows down a little bit,
Yeah, he just kind of looks.
He's guessing. He's high.
He plays way too high. And I think a lot of that, they've got to rebuild his stance. I don't think his stance is very good.
Yeah, I think what's hard is just like I want to see it unleashed. Like I want to see him run, like a 20-yard dash. Just I want to see full out, not football. Just where's the profile of his acceleration? Because he's guessing here.
Yeah, this play looks better though. Again, just coming out of his stance, he just needs to keep coming. I think he should keep coming down the line here, meeting this thing.
He's guessing a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly is.
So right now, with the amount of football that he's played, it doesn't look like he's played. It looks like it's a new sport. He's playing slower than he actually is, right, guys?
Yeah, I would say so.
Probably. It's hard to tell. There's clearly athleticism there. The frame is elite. I think he's got some speed to him. You would just like to. I would like to just see the burst. There's some reps that look pretty decent. That one where he drove the guy in the backfield looked pretty good, and gives some hope that there's an athletic upside there.
I like the way he disengaged, but like you said, just that second of hesitation. It's a burst thing, and that's what really separates like elite defensive linemen, right? What do you guys think the development time on this, Adam? A prospect like that, how long do you think it would affect with that frame that we did recognize as elite with some of those physical tools? How long do you think it would be before we could see him impact on the field at Florida State?
I mean, I think it's probably 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I think he's a guy you probably get in your program, redshirt his first year, get him in the weight room, kind of reshape his body a little bit. Second year, might get some low end reps, but
spot duty, yeah.
Yeah. That third year is when you're going to want to maybe hope that you've unlocked some of his athletic traits and can do something with him. I think of him like I don't know, maybe like a lower tier, like Keith Sampson, guy who's maybe going to take a couple years, lower tier Daniel Lyons. Like, there's some athleticism there. You see kind of some of the stuff that you liked coming out of high school, but it's going to take a little bit of time to be able to kind of get it to where you can rely on it and trust
consistency
consistently in the game. Yeah.
You got to have consistent reps, and he's got to start putting those together. And I agree with you there. Kev, do you kind of agree with that development cycle?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at him at 295 listed on no Super 7. I think ideally he's probably doing a fair amount of recomp at that weight. There might be a chance that you cut some to get better weight on him. But I think ultimately you'd like to see him above 300 as kind of like a bigger 4i kind of guy.
Got the frame for it for sure. Yeah.
Right. But I don't like he's, when Pat Payton came in a few years back, he was underweight, but he was like twitchy at the weight he was at. So he bulked for a couple of years. He was there. This kid, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute to kind of reshape that body and then build back up to where you need him to be along the defensive line. So I agree with Adams. I think he's the kind of kid that if he stays in and ultimately like the transfer portal is something that could be a concern for someone like this, because I think if he has 3 years in one weight program that has a plan, as for him, he's got pretty elite upside with that arm length, with that height. But you need that time. You need those couple of years to get him kind of suited. So to me, it's one of those takes where if you've got other guys that can play now, if you've got some kind of higher floor guys that can complement this take, I think this is a good take for a future of development.
Gotcha. And do we like the take with all the pros, all the cons, like you said, barring kind of Kev's how he put it, this kid's place in the recruiting class, as long as this isn't your centerpiece for your defensive line? Do you guys like the take overall?
I mean, I personally think he's got some things that you can't teach. So if you're gonna, defensive linemen are hard to come by.
Especially for us right now. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, they're expensive. If we're honest, and getting someone that could be that down the road, I think is sometimes worth a swing.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't mind the take. Look, it's really hard to have that conversation though and couch as long as he's not the centerpiece of your class based on the way recruiting is going for
That's
them.
the real answer. That's the real answer.
Yeah.
We want to say, oh, this is a good take because we're only going to be able to find out how good of a take this is by December based on who else is in the class.
Right.
I like this sort of thing as like the third guy, the fourth guy in the class. You have a mix of like you got to have top end talent on the defensive line, guys like Kevin Wynn, who they did land even after a 2-10 season. So you can land those type of guys, do it again, have a better season. You got to have the elite. You got to have the reliable. I think it is good to kind of have a guy like this, Mr. Wihtlley Cadeau, where you kind of have like invest the future. It's a little bit of a risky play, but it's a low investment type play because the variance is so high. I think it's good. It's healthy to have a mix, but is this a good take? The question will be answered in December.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
How about that? Well, let's end it on a pretty accurate note. This is Trey Rowland, Kevin Little, Coach AB. Guys, once again, if you want to see these videos first, Noles247.com. Become a member, become a subscriber. XSNOLES247. It is scrolling across the bottom of your screen as you're watching this. We have a lot of fun content for the summer, and all of that like foundational content you crave, you need during the season. You gotta be a member. So just do it now. Get it over with. We love you guys because I want you to be able to see this first, and that's keep chopping.